Good morning. Welcome to a morning view. This is Kim Watson speaking on Monday, the 25th of April. So, looking at the pound dollar first, and as you see, we had a bit of a little bit of a, you probably not can't see it so clearly from here, but we had a little gap up yesterday or last evening. We've broken this trend line here, and we sort of toying with being above that 100 MA, and it could well be that with this higher lows that we're seeing, that we're running up towards the prior highs of the 18th of March, or maybe even towards the sort of highs towards the 4th of February, or it's somewhere in that 146.17. Obviously, the markets liked what Obama was saying, which they probably think it gives more chance of Britain staying within the euro zone. Um, Looking at the alleys, well, we've basically closed most of that gap. There's a little bit of a gap sort of still sitting there from where we actually closed, so there's a potential for it to come down at some point this morning. It is just trying to push up a little bit again. And I think it might be a bit of a tester this morning. We have the daily pivot below us, we've got the weekly pivot below us. So it'll be an interesting price action to see whether we do actually get up hit towards that R1, today's R1, the overnight highs, the Asian session highs there, or whether we roll over first. And personally, if we were going to go towards the daily highs and the R1s, etc., on the monthly, so I'd like to see the daily pivot, weekly pivot out of the way. It just gives you a little bit more confidence. But at the moment, it is looking relatively bullish here. Euro dollar. So euro dollar was heading south towards its monthly pivot, which I keep on talking about this monthly pivot. Maybe one day it'll get hit. But again, it's got a weekly pivot above us, which has got a chance of being hit. So it's a bit inverted to the pound. It has called its daily pivot, and to me, it looks so much more bearish. However, we break the upside of the daily pivot may see us running towards that weekly pivot at some point earlier on rather than later on. But it certainly from this time frame hardly looks bullish at all. So it's a very bearish sort of look, and 4 hourlies, dailies, it all looks pretty grim at the moment. But as I say, there is the potential for the weekly above us. News-wise today, I should just say before we go on to anything, there's none of significance. There's a couple of small news events, but very little. But there is, of course, on Wednesday the FOMC meeting, and I think the markets may be a bit unsteady leading into that. So, dollar yen, well, from a daily perspective, it shoved up extremely well on Friday, closed up towards its highs. It has had a bit of a reaction from the daily 50 here, just put in really a bull flag there. It could come off some more. The weekly pivot's not far below us, as is well, the daily and the weekly pivots are both sort of relatively close below us. So there is that opportunity. Could be even the way it's been working, it could be a reasonable buy point onto the weekly pivot with the 50 if it's still there at the time. Aussie dollar, daily perspective, we were starting to roll over last week. It sort of made these new highs and just not really hanging on to them too well at the moment. It's the absolute highs there again, very indecisive sort of candles sitting there, just coming up now for its weekly pivot, which I mean it's from an intermediate time zone very weak. Looking at the hourlies here, you just see the lower lows, lower highs. We do have the weekly and monthly pivot, daily and weekly pivots, or rather, overlaying each other there, which it's almost back up to. Okay, finally Canadian dollar, but before I look at that, I need to have a quick look at the oil price and see what's happening. Okay, that's coming up slightly a bit, but it's very solid sitting there. Okay, so looking at this, I mean, it does still to me look quite bearish in the bigger picture. Friday in the end closed down now. It's run back into that daily 8, which seems to be holding it to a degree. Although saying that, it's got the weekly pivot above us here. I guess it's got some potential for that upside. But you're just looking at what's happening here with the price fall going up as well. This could help the bearish side of things. It's always a risk at the moment with the Canadian dollar with the oil sort of heading a little bit and trending a little bit more towards the upside, that the Canadian dollar will obviously, or US dollar stroke Canadian dollar, will come to the downside. It's the risk factor in there. So we could see it coming back south. All that said, it has got its weekly pivot above us. It's all over its dailies. So any change in direction here with oil, etc., could see it again pushing back towards the sort of Friday's highs and the weekly pivot. Okay, that's pretty much it. As I say, no news today, so I'm going to leave it there. Hope you have a great one. Bye for now.